Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I got a special interview with the owner of the Flying Pickle. It's a local indoor place, Paul Starita. Did I say it right?
That's pretty close. Yeah.
No.
You said it more like an Italian would. Starita. Yeah.
Starita. There we go. We literally were talking 30 seconds before we started this, making sure I get the name right, and then I really got to work on that.
It just happens. Yeah, it happens.
But this will be a fun conversation. So we've been friends for a couple of years now. We met each other when you were starting building this indoor place in Meridian. We're in the Treasure Valley of Idaho. You guys were the first indoor place, major indoor place, and just first in general. 18 courts, what do you call it? The floor plan's really nice. It's just more open. It's a little different than what we've seen from, at least from my experience with a lot of different indoor places. And you've had a lot of success here. And so I want to dive into that story, talk about the business of pickleball a little bit. You're a serial entrepreneur type person. You've done this before, and just how you've been able to find success here, because there's a few different models and a few different ways I think you can tackle an indoor place. When I think of the pickleball industry, you have, the paddle, the gear side, but this next biggest market is probably the indoor locations, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's a lot of money being exchanged in general around pickleball for sure. And there's paddle companies that are like, I'm so glad I'm in the paddle industry and not in the, the professional realm of things or in the real estate side of things. But I've always been an operator of businesses. So I knew that's kind of the side that I wanted to be in if I were going to ever enter the space. So
that's awesome. And you nailed it first try. It's pretty impressive. So I want to
strong words. I don't know if nailed it is exactly right, but we've learned along the way.
You found a way. You found a way. And I think you guys are in a good place. Maybe it's not as rosy as I see it. I don't know. We can dig into that. But let's get into that a little bit. So it's been what, almost 2 years, right? Coming up on 2 years?
Just about, yeah. Yeah.
So let's get into the story of how it started, some of the challenges you faced, how you built your business model, how you're making money, where we're at now, and how you pivoted, how you've changed, how you found success, and then talk about the future, because you have big plans, and it's exciting to hear you talk about it. You're one of those guys that can pitch a story and a vision, and you just want to hop on board. And so let's go back to the beginning a little bit. Where did the idea come from? This is a huge investment. Did you put your own money in? Did you find investors? Let's just kind of go to the beginning of the spark of the idea.
Yeah, that's great. I mean,
if you don't mind, I'll have you just talk a little bit closer to the mic.
Of course.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah. So the idea was born in January of 2022. And I was a franchisee of Paul Mitchell schools. So
the hair place,
schools. Yeah. Completely different industry. My dad is a second generation business owner. So he owned those schools. I jumped on board with them. We scaled it from 3 schools. I think by the time I left, we were at like 8 or 9 schools, kind of in the Pacific and Mountain West area. And I sort of just knew like I needed to be doing something different. And at the time I'd been playing pickleball. And so I left the company. I was able to cash out, and thinking about what came next. One day at Settlers Park, I'm playing, and I'm like, man, this would be really nice to have a place to play inside. And I was sort of just like a 3-0 beginner, I didn't really know the pickleball community or all things pickleball. So my vision in my head is what a lot of the other concepts out there are, right? Where you get kind of a business guy who's hit a ball a few times, and I just think, 4 walls, a roof, air conditioning, heat, and let's put down some courts, and that'll be our pickleball club. And it wasn't until I met Nick and Susanna, who are my business partners, that they really actually helped shape the vision of what the Flying Pickle is today. So
Susanna Barr, she's a local pro. She competes. She tours on the APP. Nick, he's one of the better male players around. Knows a lot of people. Really good player himself. And so couldn't have found 2 better people. How did you get connected with them?
It was crazy. I started poking around on Facebook and putting these surveys up that were, looking back, they were wild questions like, would you pay $400 a month for a pickleball membership and stuff like that? And I think it was a mutual friend that saw that I was poking around, and then me, Nick, and Susanna all found ourselves together at a coffee shop one day, and from that we kind of sparked the conversations, and they were pleading with me. They're like, please don't just put pickleball courts in an empty warehouse. Like, it needs to be more than that. It needs to foster a community. And luckily, I was able to kind of pivot and not be stubborn enough to think that my vision was the only right one, because that is our big differentiator now today, is that our value proposition to our members and our guests is that, hey, this is not just pickleball courts, right? We are much more. And obviously, from firsthand experience that that's not the vibe when you walk in. We really try to curate it to make it a special experience.
Yeah. And I feel like that's what sets this club apart versus other ones I've been to. A lot of clubs I've been to are very much that gym style, like open 24/7, go in, go out. It doesn't foster the community as well as what you've done. I know there's other places that have probably done this maybe as well or not as well, but from the places I've been to, the Flying Pickle stands out that way. You walk in, it's more spacious. It's not just shove as many courts as you can, but there are still 18 courts. You have 2 championship courts that are big and really fun to play on. You have 2 pro courts that are a little bit bigger. The fencing's nice, the color's nice, and you don't feel crowded. You're not, rubbing shoulders as you're walking in between. And then you have the cafe, a really nice sit down spot. And every time I pay attention to this, every time I leave, there's always 1 or 2 tables of people who have just finished. They sat down, they got a drink, and they're just hanging out.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, that's the vision that they really started selling me on. And it kind of revolves around 2 things. Number one, how do we do pickleball the right way? Like, we're not cutting corners. And at this point, Susanna, I mean, I would still argue she's kind of in the peak of her career right now. She just won a gold medal last week. Shout out to Susanna. But she'd been to so many different indoor facilities, and she was able to tell me, okay, we like this. This is working, right? The lighting. I went to this facility the other day. I can't even hear my partner call the score, let alone the opponent, right?
Yeah, okay. Stuff like that. I didn't even think about.
Yeah, how do we get this right acoustically? The surfacing that we're using, right? We all know outdoor surface is the way to go, but do we do the cushion surfacing? And we did end up doing that. The size of the courts, do we just do 30 by 60, or can we find ways to make them a little bit bigger to allow for more competitive play? So we really started thinking about every aspect of creating the perfect pickleball experience. And then from there, we shifted to exactly what you said. If somebody moves right next door to us that offers pickleball courts at, half the cost, why are our members going to stay here and stick with us? And that's when we came up with a lot of the amenities that we offer. So we actually had to sacrifice two potential courts that we could have had in there, because we wanted those areas for being able to gather, socially, right? Whether it's a private event, a birthday party, or just hanging out after you've played and having a beer, having a taco, having a smoothie. And so we knew that we wanted to create amenities that would allow people to play and then stay.
Play and stay. That role is nice.
Play and stay, baby. Yeah. So that's when we knew that, okay, we need to have a food concept in here as well. And so we went down that route as well. We knew we did not want to be eatertainment. So we love Chicken and Pickle and Top Golf, and we think those are great concepts and great brands. But we knew we wanted to be a pickleball first facility. And so the restaurant and the seating area, those are all amenities to our club rather than big profit centers.
It's not the focus, yeah.
So, yeah.
So when you go this route, you're spending more on the build. Things are more expensive. I imagine a lot of people go that gym route because it's cheaper. You can throw it up real quick. You can start making money real fast. So looking at costs and building your business model around it to be able to support that, I don't feel like the place is overly expensive. It's definitely reasonable and very comparable to even some gym style places that I've been to and looked at prices for. Part of that might be location. I don't know. But what's your cost structure? Where do you guys make your revenue? Is it all memberships? Is it guests? Is it like where's the money come from? And is it enough? Are you making money? Is it a sustainable business model? I'm trying to bring back my corporate words.
Yeah.
I've been out of the corporate world for a year now, and my vocabulary is slowly shifted back to human talk.
It's a good world to be out of. I'll tell you that much. Small business all the way. But it's a great question. I mean, when So while Nick and Susanna were kind of explaining this vision to me, all I'm seeing in my head is like dollar sign, dollar sign, dollar sign.
Right.
Like this is getting expensive really, really fast. And even looking back now, we probably went a little bit above and beyond on some of the things that we did in our current club. I don't regret it because it's just things that we've learned for future clubs. But we wanted to go all out and create that perfect experience. And so from a business standpoint, as I'm penciling this out, I quickly saw why the models that are out there exist the way that they do. Because when you do a smaller club with 8 to 12 courts, which seems to be the most popular model out there right now, to get that to pencil financially, the framework of it is, number one, you can't spend a lot of money on that club, first and foremost, right? So a lot of the amenities and features that we have, like, so you're going to sacrifice on lighting or acoustic design. You're definitely not going to have a restaurant typically. It's going to be very grab and go style, or put it in a microwave and leave. So you kind of lose out on those right off the bat. But then you quickly find out that the only way I can make money even after that is to do the nickel and dime approach, where you're charging 30 to 80 bucks a month. And then every single time your member steps on a court, you got to get a little bit more out of them, right? So you're kind of constantly worried about not only what my membership count is, but are those members actually coming in and playing, right? So I can continue to make that revenue. And you have to have that, your courts occupied as much as possible. That's route number one. Route number two, when you're a smaller club and you don't have those economies of scale that we do, is you have to oversaturate your club. You have to have around 100 members per court in order to make that work. And so you start looking at the Google reviews for some of these other clubs, and it's like, I can't, I pay this money for a membership. I can't ever get in, right? Or I have to go at 5 a.m. or 11 p.m. at night because all the courts are always filled. And so we had to kind of figure that out from the get-go. And it's something we really worked on planning to say, okay, we know we don't want a nickel and dime. Like, that's just not who we are. We don't believe in that. And we know we don't want to oversaturate it, right? So what do we do from there? And so that's why having a bigger club with more courts, I need one person at the front desk, whether I have 4 courts or 40 courts, right? And so we figured out that the more courts we can have, there are just certain fixed costs that dilute the bigger that you get.
That makes sense.
And so we're able to be a sustainable model. And not only that, but we actually have more revenue streams than any other pickleball business that I've personally looked at. Not saying they're not out there, but we do a hybrid model where we're not 100% focused or even reliant on just memberships alone. We can make a lot of money with guest fees, non-members who come in and they just want to play that day, right? They don't want to commit to that. We don't include all of our programming in our membership. So leagues, for example, we do charge a nominal fee to our members for leagues. We don't include that in a membership. That's another.
It's kind of tiered, right? So I'm a member. I pay $40 for the league. Non-member pays $60 or whatever.
Exactly. Yep. That's exactly right. We give discounts to our members for certain things like lessons, clinics, leagues. And so we have quite a few different revenue streams coming in. And a lot of it is possible because we are a bigger facility. We have those extra amenities. So memberships does wind up being our top revenue driver. Guest reservations is actually number 2.
Oh, really? I wouldn't have guessed that.
And then the restaurant is 3, and the pro shop is actually not too far behind at number 4. And so, and then there's more that come after that, but those are sort of the big four. Yeah, for us.
How has things shifted from like an operational standpoint from when you started to now? I imagine you had to tweak how you manage the courts, open plays to kind of optimize for those revenue streams.
Yeah. Well, I think how things have shifted is, number one, I mean, we planned for almost 2 years, right? And then by the first week, we're like, okay, well, we were wrong about that. We're throwing that out the window. We're going to try this. Even I remember our grand opening day, I was showing somebody the mezzanine, right, that we have. And I'm like, yeah, look at this beautiful space. We love it. And you can hang out up here and you can work up here and there's TVs and we'll bring your food to you and all this stuff. And he says, do you rent this out to companies? Like, do you rent this out for events? And I'm like, in all my 2 years, I did not. I thought about renting out our conference room, our events room. I never thought about renting out the mezzanine. I'm like, yeah, duh. Yes, of course we do. And so it was, I think they're just things that we learned very quickly. We've also dealt with from day one till now. Day one, we were just trying to get people to sign up to be members, right? And now we're actually warding people off. We have a pretty extensive wait list to where we can't accept new members.
How do you manage that? So do you have it capped at, say, you mentioned like 100 per court earlier. Do you have a number per court where you're maxed out, you won't accept memberships?
Yeah, we do. And that's kind of like one of our trade secrets, I guess. But we do have a much lower ratio of how many members per court we will accept. And based on that ratio, we'll cap it. We think we found the perfect number to where we can keep members happy, but we're still utilizing our courts really, really well. We have mechanisms in place to make sure we're not allowing people to hog courts, right?
Yeah,
people are always finding loopholes, but
that's been a battle. It seems like we get an email once every 6 months where someone found a loophole and you guys had to restructure how guest passes and things and reservations are used. And yeah, that's part of the battle is you have to manage not only the number, but how many reservations you can do. If right now, I believe it's set at, you can do, depending on your profile or membership level, you can book up to 4 days in advance or 4 reservations at a time. 2 weeks in advance. And that's tiered, right? Depending on your membership.
Yeah. We have 2 tiers of membership. So both of our memberships are like an unlimited model. And we don't mean unlimited, meaning you could book every hour of every day, but you could technically have unlimited reservations if they were available, right? And so our basic membership, you have 2 reservations at a time, 7 days advance booking. Our pro membership is 4 reservations at a time, 14 days advance booking. And it's worked well. Some people want to pay that premium to be able to have more flexibility and plan ahead a little bit more, and other people don't need that. And so it allows them to have that option, but they're still not having to worry about every time they book, are they going to get charged, $5 a court fee or whatever. So
one of the most bizarre experiences I've had with court booking, not here, just in general. So this is just a funny story off topic. I was visiting some family in Spokane, got connected with some people in Coeur d'Alene. I went and played with them. It's this small 3-court facility. And we're playing, we're about an hour and a half in, and one of the gals we're playing with just goes, "Stop. Everyone stop, time to book." So we all stop, we get to our phone, and whatever the designated time was, whether it was 1 p.m., 2 p.m., is when court reservations opened up for the next week. So they're on their like Taylor Swift tickets, just getting ready, and all 3 of them were trying to book them. Only 2 of the 3, I think, got courts.
Goodness sakes.
Just wild. And so you got to pay attention to those things. And to your point, it was a 3-court facility. In order to make money, you need 100 people per court, and then it messes up some of the flow and things like that. And even now, I mean, compared to a year ago, I have to book a week in advance, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not that big of a deal. Whereas before, you could wake up at 10 and book a court at noon, and those days are gone. But that's good. I mean, you're growing membership wise. How long did it take you guys to get to where you want to be? I'm sure you had some sort of projection of where you wanted members to be, what your cap was. How quickly did you hit goals? Would that come faster, slower than you wanted?
Yeah. So, first of all, to your first point, hopefully we're going to alleviate things a little bit soon. We are looking at expanding in the Treasure Valley. So hopefully we can kind of get back to those days where the courts are available. But what I'll say is this, without having a competitor's pro forma in front of us, when we forecasted this whole thing out, it was just all guessing, right? And very educated guesses, but guesses nonetheless. And we exceeded everything. We exceeded our sales. We also exceeded our expense forecast as well. So
that's usually how it goes, right?
That's how it goes. We did fill up our membership capacity within 10 months, and
that seems pretty wild to me.
It was more than we expected. We thought it would take longer than that for sure. We were projecting like 18 months to 2 years for that to fill up, and so I think it speaks to a lot of the hard work that we put in, but also just the community here is strong and they want to be together, right? And we have a facility right now where a lot of the community can be together for sure. We honestly didn't do a ton of advertising or spend a lot of marketing dollars.
That was organic.
It was I won't say it was all organic, but it was primarily organic. And again, I mean, I can't remember if we've talked about it offline, but one of the problems in the indoor pickleball facility industry that I see right now is every concept is working. So we won't actually really know what the best concepts are until later on, where, you know, we put a flying pickle next to another type of facility and
see who wins.
Our costs are essentially this. I mean, that's kind of where it's headed right now. There are a lot of companies out there that are franchising now, and a lot of one-off clubs that are just popping up everywhere. And so when we talk about that market correction, that's sort of how we built the Flying Pickle to be, is like, we've thought about competitors, and if someone moves next to us, what are we going to do? And so we feel like we've got good answers to that. But
that's a great point. I never considered. As you're starting to franchise, other people are franchising, you can probably go find a good location where there's no facility and get up and running and do well. But eventually that space is going to run out.
It is. And
you're going to be next to each other. It's going to be, you know, like you have 2 gas stations on the corners, be Wendy's, McDonald's. You have to figure out how you can differentiate and be better. So it's cool that you're thinking ahead that way, because eventually it's going to get to that point.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, everyone has different risk tolerance, right? So, like, for example, you mentioned we are starting to franchise, and we've been working really hard to get ready to do that for the last 9 months, actually. We are a higher investment, obviously, right? Like our facility, our philosophy is just different. We want 16 court clubs or bigger. We don't want to go smaller than 16, whereas most other franchises are kind of in that 8 to 12 range. Some go a little bit bigger, but we're going to be a higher initial spend, but we think that we are more competitor proof. We're more future proof. And so while we might be a little bit more of an expensive model, it actually might be, I would argue it's less risky, right? Because we're not a commodity. We're an actual brand that's being established, that's been proven once, and we're going to be proving in other locations very soon too.
So let's talk about some of the future of what your vision is for the franchising side of things. So you have your home base, your home location. Tell me a little bit how franchising works. I'm not super familiar with this. You did this with the Paul Mitchells. How does that work? Just basic.
Yeah, for sure. So we will have corporately owned locations, meaning me and Nick, Susanna, our investors. We own this Meridian location. We're going to own another location in the Treasure Valley. We just announced one in Kennewick, Washington, so the Tri-Cities. That one's going up.
Is that going to be a corporate location?
That will also be a corporately owned location. But as a franchise, we can have someone that we approve, and we have a mutual agreement that, hey, we want to be in business together. We want to be partners. And so let's say you, Braden, if you wanted to open up a franchise in Minnesota, you could own a Flying Pickle location that's 100% yours, right? You would pay us an initial franchise fee, and we would help with things like finding your real estate, negotiating a lease. We would help with construction management of getting that project up. And then we're going to hand you our playbook to say, this is how you run a facility. This is who you need to hire.
And programming is probably a big part of that.
It's a big part of it. I know
you guys have changed and ebbed and flowed with the programming, the lessons, that structure. That's a big deal.
That's a big deal. And we would actually put that on the calendar for you, right? So that's actually Susanna's job with the franchising entity, is that she's in charge of national programming for all of the Flying Pickle locations. So we leave flexibility for local operators to switch things up, right? Because every community is going to be a little bit different, but it almost eliminates a full-time position of getting that programming in. And so there's a lot of different things that we do from a support standpoint to help that franchisee be successful in their location. It's still branded as the Flying Pickle, but you know, that individual franchisee owns that location 100%. They just pay us an initial franchise fee, and then they pay us a certain percentage of their sales royalties for that ongoing support. So
you've done the franchise thing a few times. There's the support systems that you guys have, the playbook, you've done this, you've proven your model. Sounds like that's the advantage of doing the franchise rather than me just trying to go open my own place.
Yeah, think about it this way.
Versus, I mean, in your head, I'm sure someone's like, oh, I don't want to pay royalties. I don't want to.
Right. Yeah, well, you're going to pay royalties to someone, right? You're going to either pay royalties to me because we've figured it out, or you're going to pay the royalties of making all the mistakes that we've made, figuring things out from the ground up. I always tell people, we've talked to a few potential franchisees, and I usually start the conversation by saying, hey, just so you know, you could probably figure out how to do this yourself, but you're going to spend way longer and spend way more money doing it by yourself than if you partner with us. And then there's certain advantages that you'll just never have, right? Like, for example, with the paddle brands that I work with, I'm typically getting a 50% margin on those paddles from my pro shop. You're only going to get a 40% margin in your pro shop.
Because
we just have that
you can
national buying
negotiate.
power. Yeah. Even all the software we use, we're going to get them at a discount for you. And so there are certain just advantages of partnering with a larger company, even just not being alone, right? Of having to figure it out yourself versus now we have a network of club owners where we can bounce ideas off of each other. We can share best practices or share lessons learned. And so I think there's a lot of advantages for why going with the franchise is the right way to go. Even just the power of your members being able to travel to other locations and utilize their membership.
Oh, so
in other places.
It'll be connected that way.
Totally. Yeah.
And then pricing, is the owner of the franchise, do they pick membership pricing, or is that going to be set in stone?
No, they do pick their own pricing. Yeah. Every market's going to be different.
A little bit,
yeah. Like, for example, if we were to ever open a club in LA, I'm sure that price is going to be a little bit different than in Boise, Idaho.
The lease will be a lot more, I would imagine.
It will be. Yeah. Costs go up. So you got to have the right, it's their business, right? So we're going to support them and probably make some recommendations to them, what we think would be successful, but ultimately some of that stuff's up to them. Now, the way that they treat the brand and do certain things in their operation, we do control. And that's just to make sure that they're putting out a great quality product that matches what we know works.
Do you think this model could make sense in an LA, in New York, or is it better suited for the Minnesotas, the Idahos, the Utah, whatever type areas more?
Yeah. I think indoor pickleball can work anywhere. I really believe that, and not just indoor pickleball in general, but our franchise model. And the reason why is because indoor pickleball, again, we're not trying to compete necessarily with like the parks and rec department of LA or New York City. We're creating a whole experience and a community around it. And so this is going to be your place, right? This is your second home. This is where your people are. That's what we're offering, right? And we have the ingredients and the know-how of how to do that and get that done. People beyond just wanting that community, they just want reliability. Like you're a busy guy. I'm a busy guy. Like when I go play pickleball, I want 2 hours of nonstop uninterrupted pickleball. And I don't want to have to take the chance of like, I'm waiting for a quarter. Is the weather nice or whatever, right?
One of my favorite aspects of this indoor model, or just generally, is the fact I can reserve courts. I get it for 2 hours. It's mine is a huge deal.
Yeah.
And it's just on my calendar, which is nice.
It's on your, it's not your
not
calendar.
In my text messages. I don't forget.
Yeah. And I think we've all kind of gone through that journey of, like when you're first getting into pickleball, like it's all about open play, like meeting new people and like kind of finding your group. And then you sort of find that group and you just want to play with your group and unless it's with like leagues or tournaments or whatever. So that's another thing that we offer that Parks and Rec won't offer, right?
The programming side.
The programming side of it, so we can help people get integrated into the community and then continue to help them get better and find ways to do you know
improve. What's blown my mind? So I'm friends with everyone that works there, right? Talk to Billy a lot. He's one of the instructors there.
Yeah.
Him and Joe, you guys do those weekly come learn how to play programs or days or hours. There's people there every week.
Oh yeah.
They've never picked up a paddle that are coming in and playing it. And it's this nice little funnel of they learn, then they get a membership. I'm sure that's helped grow. But it blows my mind how many people that are coming in are being introduced to pickleball through you guys' programming, because it makes it easy to just show up, play, whether you want to do the entry level thing, whether you want to show up to an open play. It's all written out, it's organized, and it's nice that way. With parks, there's open play, but you have to go meet people, learn it, figure out when they do that, how they organize it, whereas it's just so much more simple to get involved. And I think having you guys in the Valley here has helped grow the sport locally just because of your programming, which is another cool aspect that I didn't anticipate with what you guys have going on. Pretty neat.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense for the pickleball as a sport, and just improving the game and having more fun. I prefer the indoor style. But if
you start getting spoiled, it's actually hard to play outdoors.
You do a little bit. Yeah. Last summer, I've mentioned this on my podcast a few times, but I was so surprised how little I played outside.
Oh, man.
And this
the
summer,
slightest gust of wind, all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is stupid.
Horrible,
I'm going back inside.
I'm very interested to see what happens this summer now that the courts are a little busier. If more of that will shift outside, if it'll stay the same, I don't know. It'll be different than last summer.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think there's an element of seasonality for sure, but and people, some people are just wired that way. I'm only going to spend money when I absolutely need it. But I even last summer we stayed pretty busy.
Do you have winter passes or something? I don't even know.
We moved to a month-to-month membership, and so people can kind of cancel or rejoin as they want. But obviously with the wait list now, like if you cancel, you should, think twice because you might not be able to get on for a while. So
yeah. So if I'm listening to this and I want a franchise, can I do that right now? Can I talk to you?
Yeah, you can. Are you interested, Braden? No,
maybe.
Yeah. No, you definitely can. If you can go to our website, it's just theflyingpickle.com. There's a franchising page as well. You can reach out to me. My email is just paul@theflyingpickle.com. And typically what it looks like is we just have like a 5 or 10 minute conversation to just go over some of the basics. Like, are you qualified? This is a lot of money. Do you have it? Do you have access to it? Where are you thinking of doing it? We kind of talk over those first initial details, and then schedule another call to get a little bit more in the weeds of what the whole process looks like. And we've got a lot of great partners when it comes to financing and real estate to help you get your club started and, fulfill all your pickleball dreams.
Yeah, there you go. Do you have a cap or a goal of how many you want to franchise in the next year, 5 years, 10 years?
Yeah, we do. I mean, it's really crazy to see a lot of our competitors. I mean, I look up to a lot of them. They've sold so many franchises up to this point. So it's hard to know what a realistic expectation is, but we do want to kind of go a little bit on the slower, more deliberate side. And so I think this first year we're hoping to sign 10 to 15 is sort of what we've had in mind. And we just want to make sure we're doing it the right way, and that those franchise fees are not going towards like, crazy corporate offices or celebrities and stuff like that. I mean, we want to grow organically and build a really solid foundation for our franchisees as we start entering the space. So
I love it, man. That's super exciting. It's been so fun watching it happen from the beginning. When I started playing, this was 2019 when I first moved to the area. I have some courts here, but winters we just played on gym floors at high schools, at random locations, the church it was for a few years. And I was so excited when I heard you guys were coming in, and it's definitely been above and beyond expectations. Definitely feel spoiled. It's really impressive what you built, man. And it's fun to hear the story. But yeah, if you have any questions, I'll put Paul's information in the description. You can reach out to him, let him know that you listen to the pod or the show, and we'll see what comes of it. That'd be cool if something came through.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and we got to give a shout out to Braden and Kyle Trenga as well. I mean, what you guys have done for the pickleball community locally and even nationally has been super fun to watch. I mean, I remember we were just talking at Settlers Park or over the phone when this was just an idea, and we're like, how can we do something together? And it's just been awesome to kind of at the same time we both went all in on pickleball, right?
Yeah, we did.
I mean, you quit your day job, I quit my day job. We're like, we're doing it. We're going pickleball route.
Yeah,
so
I haven't looked back since. It's amazing what you can accomplish when you put your full attention to it.
Oh yeah.
I remember sitting down at Settlers. You were trying to get memberships before you guys opened, and I asked you that question. I was like, "Is it worth it? Do you really think I'll be able to, 2x what I'm doing now?" And I remember you saying it's to the effect that it's, if you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And because we were talking about me potentially getting a part-time job with work at the Flying Pickle while I'm trying to do this, and we kind of ultimately came to the decision. It's like, Braden, just go for it. Just do it. Give it a shot. If it doesn't work out, you can fall back on something else. And I always appreciate your advice there.
Look at you now.
Yeah. Well,
it's awesome.
It's been cool to watch it grow, and I'm really happy with where it is, and it's been fun.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me on. I seriously, I really appreciate this and love what you guys are doing. And if there's any way we can support, let us know.
Okay. Thanks, Paul.
Okay. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone, for tuning in.